The day we were told would never come is already here, happening right now as you listen to this, not in some distant foreign capital, but on Main Street America, inside the very banks you and I do our everyday business with, because after decades of waiting, years of speculation, and countless moments of doubt, the single most significant financial event of our lifetimes has officially begun its rollout, with multiple confirmed and corroborated reports now confirming that U.S. financial institutions have initiated the process of exchanging Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong for U.S. dollars at a newly revalued rate, a silent, seismic shift in the global monetary order that has started not with a press conference or a news headline, but with internal bank memorandums, updated software protocols, and quiet conversations between bank managers and their staff, all pointing towards one undeniable truth. The RV is no longer a matter of when for you to walk into your local branch and complete the transaction that will redefine your future. Imagine for a moment the sheer logistical and political magnitude of this operation. This isn't a simple currency fluctuation like the euro dipping against the pound. This is the formal and official recognition by the United States banking system, the bedrock of global finance, that two currencies previously treated as exotic, speculative, or even worthless outside their own borders are now being assigned a tangible, life-changing value, a process so monumental that it had to be rolled out with deliberate stealth to prevent a global economic panic and a mad rush that would have collapsed the system itself, which is why the initial phases are so discreet, handled by a select group of major banks with the specific infrastructure and federal clearance to manage what is essentially a controlled financial detonation designed to redistribute wealth on a scale never before seen in human history. The intelligence we've gathered from sources deep within these financial institutions outlines a very specific and deliberate procedure. Bank staff and designated branches are being trained on a two-tiered verification process, first confirming the authenticity of the Dinar or Dong notes using advanced spectral analysis scanners that have been recently installed, and then applying the new non-public internal exchange rate, which is being updated on their systems in real time, a rate that is not the single penny or fraction of a cent we've seen for years, but a figure that aligns with the original pre-war value of the dinar and the robust industrial potential of the Vietnamese dong, effectively catapulting these currencies from the sidelines of global trade directly onto the center stage. And this isn't a future promise. This is a present tense reality for a small but growing number of individuals who have already successfully navigated this process, presenting their currency, having it verified, and receiving a formal bank document stating the converted US dollar amount, with the funds then processed through a mandatory holding period before being wired into their accounts. Process that confirms the legitimacy of this entire operation and silences every critic who ever said this day would never arrive. So what does this mean for you, the person holding this currency? Right now, in this very moment, it means the window of action is officially open. But it is a window that requires precision, knowledge, and a calm demeanor to navigate successfully, because the biggest mistake anyone can make at this pivotal juncture is to rush into their local bank branch unprepared, fueled by excitement but lacking the critical information needed to complete this transaction smoothly and securely, which is why the intelligence we have gathered from the very first successful exchanges is absolutely vital for you to understand and internalize before you take a single step outside your door. Let's break down the exact step-by-step procedure that has been confirmed by those who have already completed the process. First, understand that not every single bank branch in every single city is fully operational yet. This is a phased rollout, with major national banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase being the primary initial players, specifically their larger central branches in major metropolitan areas that have the upgraded verification equipment and trained senior staff. So your first move should not be a random visit to a small local branch, but a deliberate phone call to the main flagship branch in your nearest major city, asking to speak directly to the branch manager or the head of their foreign currency department, and using a very specific phrase that will immediately alert them that you are informed and not to be dismissed. A phrase like, "I am calling to inquire about the procedure for initiating a high-value exchange of Iraqi dinar under the new regulatory guidelines." This specific language is crucial because it bypasses the initial level of customer service who may have no knowledge of this program and connects you directly with the personnel who have been briefed. And when you are in front of that manager, the process is methodical and secure. You will be taken to a private room. Your notes will be counted not by hand, but by a specialized currency counting machine that also scans for authenticity. And then the real moment of truth arrives. The teller or manager will input the currency code into their system. And this is where the new live internal rate will appear on their screen, a rate that is not publicly listed on their website or on the big board in the lobby, a rate that is protected and confidential. And once that rate is confirmed and you agree, the exchange is executed. The funds, however, do not come to you as a cashier's check or a suitcase of cash for transactions of this magnitude. The bank will initiate a wire transfer directly into your account, but there is a mandatory clearing period, typically between 24 to 72 hours, where the funds are essentially placed on hold as the bank's compliance department completes its final anti-money laundering and know your customer checks, a standard but critical security procedure that feels agonizing but is your final gatekeeper to financial liberation. This entire process, from the private room to the wire transfer, is designed for deniability on a macro scale but is irrefutable on an individual level, creating a scenario where the mass public remains largely unaware while those in the know, those who have done their due diligence and held on through the years of silence, are now being quietly ushered into a new financial reality. And your composure during this process is your greatest asset, as projecting the confidence and knowledge of someone who expected this day to come is the surest way to ensure you are treated with the seriousness and respect you deserve, moving from a hopeful investor into a validated client executing a significant international financial transaction. Now, with the reality of the exchange process firmly laid out, we arrive at the most critical juncture of all, the aftermath and the profound responsibility that comes with this level of financial transformation, because the moment that wire transfer clears and the funds are irrevocably in your account, your old life ends and a new one begins, a transition that will test your character and your wisdom in ways you have never experienced, making the next decisions you make the most important of your entire life. And the first and most non-negotiable rule you must follow is one of absolute silence, understanding that this wealth transfer is happening in a controlled and phased manner for a reason, to prevent the very chaos that would erupt if this news became a mainstream media headline tomorrow, which means your greatest power and your primary protection is your discretion. Your ability to go about your life without announcing your new status to the world, to your friends, to your extended family, or to your social media followers, because the moment you do, you become a target not just for every sob story and financial request imaginable, but for far more sinister forces that prey on the newly wealthy, draining your resources and your peace of mind with shocking speed. So your immediate plan must include assembling a team of silent partners you can trust implicitly, starting with a top-tier asset protection attorney who can help you shield your wealth through trusts and legal structures, a fiduciary financial advisor who is legally obligated to act in your best interest, not one who earns commissions on the products they sell you, and a certified public accountant who specializes in high net worth individuals to navigate the complex tax obligations that will come with this event. A team that you will pay for their expertise and who will therefore owe you a duty of confidentiality. Your second step, once that team is in place, is to deliberately pause and do nothing financially significant for a predetermined period, whether that's 30, 60, or even 90 days, allowing the initial psychological shock to subside and preventing you from making impulsive, emotionally driven decisions like buying a fleet of supercars or a mansion you saw in a magazine, purchases that are emotional reactions, not strategic investments. And instead, you must focus on the freedom this wealth truly represents. The freedom from fear, the freedom from debt, and the freedom to pursue purpose over a paycheck, which means using this capital as a tool to build a legacy, whether that's starting the business you always dreamed of, funding groundbreaking medical research, creating a charitable foundation to address a cause close to your heart, or simply securing the future for the next 5 generations of your family, ensuring they are educated, healthy, and free to pursue their own passions without the chains of financial limitation. This is the true meaning of the RV. It was never just about the number in your bank account. It was about the global reset of opportunity, the correction of a system that has been unbalanced for generations. And you, by holding on and believing, have now become a central part of that new architecture, a steward of capital that has the power to heal, to build, and to inspire on a scale that most people can only imagine. But it all starts with the choices you make in the first hours and days after your exchange is complete. Choices that will either cement your legacy as a wise and benevolent force or see your fortune evaporate as quickly as it appeared. And this is precisely why you need to act right now. Before you even leave to go to the bank, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because what you have just heard is merely the beginning of the information you will need. And in the coming days, I will be releasing detailed, step-by-step breakdowns that you will not find anywhere else, including the exact list of confirmed bank branches, the specific legal structures for asset protection, and the direct contacts for vetted professionals who understand the unique nature of this event, information that will be delivered directly to this channel, making it your single most important resource for navigating the next critical phase. So subscribe now, because the journey to secure your wealth is just beginning, and I will be with you every single step of the way to ensure you not only achieve this financial freedom, but that you protect it, grow it, and use it to build a legacy that will echo through history.